podcast is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Pella of Omaha and Lincoln wants every homeowner to have the best quality windows and doors, and they're willing to bet $100 on it. Call the Omaha or Lincoln showroom or go to PellaOmaha.com to find out how you can get $100 and new windows and doors starting at $122 a month. That's PellaOmaha.com. And we're brought to you by Brickway, Cut Spike, Lucky Bucket family. Great brewery, great distillery. We're really excited to have them on board. I was drinking this bourbon on Friday night. I had myself a drink. I am a man, in case you are not familiar with the fact that I am such a man, and it would be evidenced by the fact that I drank this manly bourbon. Okay,
oh, nice.
It was fantastic. Oh, it's great. Nice. It is great. Also got some Oktoberfest beers as well. I mean, I'm set. I'm pretty much set. Great beers, great whiskeys, and more. They're located in the Omaha La Vista area, 4 blocks south of 120th and Giles. Go check them out. And we're brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, the Solaire authorized distributor for Nebraska and Iowa. Solaire, the leading American manufacturer of air compressors. For any and all air compressor needs, go to peerlessenergy.com. That man's Bo Ruud. I'm Nick Bahe. What a day, what a night, what a scene in Lincoln, Nebraska. Perfect weather. It's your rival. I went down and tailgated a little bit, didn't go to the game, tailgated for just a short period of time, went down to the rail yard. The vibes were incredible. It was amazing.
Packed.
I have nothing. So I thought it was really packed. I don't know how it gets more packed.
Yeah.
I don't go downtown a lot, or anything. So I'm like, wait, hold on now. Who is this Snoop Dogg guy y'all talking about? Y'all talking about Snoop Dogg?
You know what, though? I bet you if the newest artist out, we wouldn't know the name.
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
They'd be like, this is so-and-so, and he's
Lil Queasy. I'm like, Little Queasy? Like, yeah.
Maybe a little Dramamine that could help. What? Oh.
No, I don't know. I mean, I would not know. But...
It was a good time down there, though?
Oh, it was great. And it was all like out of a dream. It was perfect. It was everything about the stage leading up to the game. And then you have, it's the 94 team being honored. It's a night game. It's Colorado. You have Terrence Bud Crawford leading them out of the tunnel. Well, let's be honest.
Maybe one of my favorite parts of the game was Bud Crawford, because you know what? Bud has been waiting his whole life for that moment. Yes. And you could just feel that this was like a life goal hit for him or something.
Yeah, it's not like he genuinely loves the state of Nebraska.
Yes.
Like that's a real, he reps Omaha, he reps all, like genuine, sincere love. And let's be honest, stop for a second. Like he's basically right now, he's the pound for pound.
Best in the world.
Best in the world.
For sure, in my mind.
And that dude draped in belts, like that. Think about and he's not Tyson, but like in some ways he's
better than Tyson.
Yeah, it would be like Tyson or fill in the blank, amazing boxer in the moment, top of the sport, leading a football team out. Like come on, man.
What a perfect there's a few teams that have like guys that kind of represent. He's like our perfect representative because he's like the gritty North Omaha,
right? Pound
for pound, best fighter in the world.
Yes,
and he loves Nebraska. He's a '90s Nebraska kid, essentially.
Right.
Like grew up, loving the Huskers, the Blackshirts, and he goes out of his way to let the whole world know about Nebraska.
Yes,
and so I just have so much respect for Bud.
There's something about Eminem led Bud out.
Yeah.
And Bud led Nebraska out. Like by Kevin Bacon's 6 degrees of separation, I'm waiting for Slim Shady to lead the Huskers out. I don't know. But it's so all those it's like all out of a dream,
Yeah. There was a little bit of you had to pinch yourself partway through that game going like, it's fine. We've waited so long for this day.
Totally. And then so for the beauty of it, the reason you had to pinch yourself is because it's been a long time on a big stage in a big moment that Nebraska met the moment.
That's it.
From the mother jump, they were locked in.
That's right.
For especially in the first half, relatively speaking, that's almost as perfect as Nebraska can play in the first half.
That's the best single half performance I've seen 15 years, maybe.
I mean, I'm really trying to, like, when you're putting it all, complimentary football, both sides of the ball, big plays. Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Yeah, and Colorado's very unique in the sense of, like, they're not the best team we're going to play this year.
No.
They're not necessarily a great team at all. They do have maybe the best quarterback we're going to face all year. That's a pro quarterback.
Yeah.
Like a first round, maybe the first of 1 or 2 or 3 picks of the next year's draft. That's very rare you get to play that with Dion being his coach and dad.
Right.
With a lot of, like, talented receivers, but, like,
it was
that's what made it still that special, and it's Colorado.
And
right?
I was going to say, and it's not like he's the head coach at Bowling Green or Georgia Tech. This is Colorado.
It's our rival, and it's in a moment where we've needed the prime time game with all eyes on us win that it's been evading us for 10 to 20 years.
Yes.
And so everybody kind of knew the stakes, and we finally delivered when the stakes were high and momentum that we've never been able to capture, that confidence, that thing we finally went and grabbed that little thing. And it's almost surreal to feel that. As much as anything, that is what we're talking about.
Yes. And so you and I were texting, sometimes we do these recaps and we just go, hey, let's talk about the offense, Hey, let's talk about the defense. I mean, it's an easy, simple formula and it's good. But sometimes there's these games where there's either one defining sequence or whatever. I feel like I wrote down all the first half big plays and sequences. Okay. It ends up kind of being, I don't want to get too bogged down drive to drive, but there kind of was something pretty consequential on almost every single possession of that first half. So we talked about how Nebraska meets the moment. Who were we talking about in the preview pod of, like, we need this guy to be really good?
I think I said Ty Robinson.
And who comes out and sets the tone on the first series? Ty Robinson.
I think that matters too.
I do too.
I think it matters when who's your best guys, right? Ty.
Yep.
Nash. Tommy's been.
Tommy, I mean, yeah.
I hadn't put Tommy at the top, and Tommy, I think other people maybe have.
Rule certainly puts him there.
And there's a reason why.
Yes.
And we just found out why the guys that matter the most on your team, when they make the plays, I think it elevates everybody.
I don't think there's any question.
Confidence, the same way we're going to talk about the guy across the other side of the ball. Like, when those guys deliver, it does something different.
Yes. So the first play of the game, he bats down a pass. Then third down, here we go. Here comes the rush. Ty Robinson sacks Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
And I'd have to imagine you were there.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
I'm glad I brought my daughters to the last game, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't bring them to this game because it would have been a noise issue for their ears. Yeah. And I'm not kidding you. Right. Like, we bought the headphones last game. We forgot. I forgot the headphones. If you would have forgot your kids' headphones, it's like I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Ruud, like your daughter
instead of Bleeding Gums Murphy, it's Bleeding Ears Bell Ruud.
It was as loud as I can remember.
It seemed like it.
I mean, the fourth quarter Michigan game.
Yep.
And then you got to go back a long time. It's maybe not. It's not Oklahoma Crouch, stunts to Crouch, Oklahoma, but like somewhere in between, it was that for Nick for an entire half.
Yes,
it was like whoa.
Right. It seemed like it. Yeah. I mean, even Colt McCoy on the broadcast kept saying, like, he said early on, he's like, could it be any louder? I don't know if he went to Chandler Bing, like, could it be any louder?
Welcome, Colt. It's your first day in the job. What do you think your, on-air personality could be? I'm thinking Chandler Bing.
Or I ask a sarcastic question, and it's a rhetorical question. But so he brought it up.
Yeah.
But okay, Ty Robinson sets the tone, and at this point, I'm in my basement, full of tailgating beers. Excited, okay?
I'm glad you got to see the game.
Oh, yes.
I was worried you were gonna I missed.
I went, man. I don't know where I'm at, man.
What a tailgate!
It was so fun. Then sets the tone. Nebraska's first drive. I think when I'm about to, we talked about you referenced bringing up Dylan Raiola.
Yeah.
I think this is maybe now Nebraska's defensive line was so good that like I feel like it didn't matter. So we can't be like, if this play doesn't happen, I don't think it really good. Like 3rd and 10. 3rd and 10. Nebraska's staring at a 3 and out on their first drive.
Yeah.
3rd and 10. Dylan Raiola steps up into the pocket, finds a lane, scrambles for 12 or 13 yards and a first down, and stands up and just gives a little a little first down. Massive play.
Yeah.
I mean, just a massive play. Because you referenced the crowd, that you know what's deflating? 3 and out, you gain 0 yards and you punt it right back to Colorado.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. I mean, I don't think there's any scenario we could conjure up where Nebraska doesn't win this game. But at the end of the day, that's a huge play. So I take it you had that in your head?
I rewatched a good chunk of the first half this morning. It's just like, I want to see the game copy. And rewatching it, it got me thinking about that. Like that first drive, I went, God, that did like it. Just you could feel everybody go, oh, that's right, we got Dylan, and we're not the same team.
Yes.
Like we've been in such a unreal offensive funk.
Yes,
in terms of stability, turnovers, just like no trust, that you just like, you have to do these little things. You have to have these little moments to build the belief. Just a little moment, build some belief.
Totally agree. Because you get a first down. There's something about that first down, just kind of like,
yes,
okay, all right.
Yeah.
And it's your quarterback. It just did it like literally like checked off a whole bunch of it. It's like crowd could stay like Mount St. Helens level. Dylan settles in. The offense can settle in. Yeah. Like it just was like all check on one play. Huge play.
Yeah.
And although he's not Michael Vick or anything like that, he's pretty good. Those little, every once in a while, like he's not one of those dudes that'll never scramble. He'll kind of break your back on like a 3rd and 6 if you play man and turn your back and you give him he'll go step up and go find a lane.
He's fast enough to do that, and he's fast enough like on his boots to kind of like to be a little bit elusive, but he's not a burner, and that's okay. Like that's not what we're asking him to do. And
no. But huge play, because then that sets up Dante Dowell's 2 physical-ass runs up the middle. Yeah. Right up the middle, just runs over a safety.
Yeah.
And then the very next play, right up the middle, Fedoni pulling, Canton, Ohio, holla at you, boysenberry, out here just elbowing fools, and Dowell punches it in untouched. You see, Travis Hunter had a chance to come in and maybe try to meet him at the 1.
I watched that. I didn't see it till today.
I didn't either.
He didn't want it.
I was like, uh-oh. When you're pulling
that's
up,
a bad sign to me.
Yes, it is.
I'll tell you what, if you're not willing to lay out to try to like
stop a touchdown,
even if he gets in, you got to get a hit on him. He gave it.
He pulled up and said, "Right this way, sir." Yeah. So now. But Dylan Raiola, 3rd and 10, scramble, keeps the drive alive. I think they went to Barney on a little play, which we have to talk about him. I have a lot of thoughts on Barney. But then Dowell, 2 straight physical runs, 7-0 Nebraska.
Yep.
Okay. Colorado's second drive, after a long kickoff return from Jimmy Horn, was there a little bit of like, ooh in the stadium?
This is what, Nick, I saw Jay Moore after the game.
Yep.
And we basically the thing that, like he said a few times, and I was like, we're traumatized, aren't we? Like we basically like, that's how we felt.
Yes.
Until we were up 28 points, So yes, Nick, those things happen, and we're not like we have not seen a team like handle those moments.
Yes.
And they handled
them.
Right? Colorado gets a chance, and they get on our side of the field. It ends up being a 4th and 1. What do? We make the stop, right? Like
Mackay Bayer.
Huge play, right?
Yeah.
But
the other thing with that, but here also was huge though. There were so many things, like anytime there was anything that could pop up for Colorado, Nebraska just hammered it back at it. So Jimmy Horn, big kickoff return, Polar Bear, first down, a sack, 11-yard loss.
Yep.
So your good field position, you're instantly pushed back and you're way behind the sticks.
Yeah.
But then you're right, they get to 4th and 1, and Mackay Bayer, who played really good, and another linebacker who we got John Bullock in the second half
A great game.
was awesome.
Yeah.
For there was like a 5-minute stretch where Bullock was everywhere.
Yeah.
But 4th and 1, Bayer comes in, stuffs it, and at any time you get a 4th down stop like that, it's a big momentum boost.
Yep.
So this next offensive drive was not very good. They go 3 and out, but Brian Buschini.
I was thinking about you when
NickBallLovesPunters.com is the website, and it's tons of good stuff on it. A lot of Darren Erstad on there, a lot of Jesse Cush on there. But Brian,
Punters Fan Club, Nick Ball.
we have a whopping 3 subscribers.
We're really kicking it off this year.
We have everything, but Buschini booms it down to the 2.
Yeah.
Pins Colorado at their own goal line. And what happens on the very next play? Shedeur Sanders has been sacked twice. He's under duress, so it just, your mind gets going. He was a little late. Throws out to the sideline. Tommy Hill reads it, jumps it, pick 6. I'd have to imagine, was this the loudest moment in the stadium?
Yeah, my brother-in-law picked me up. Bear hugged me and picked me up and shook me. I didn't know he was that strong. He did that.
That's impressive, yeah.
Yeah, like it was pandemonium. And I think in a way, the game was over after that play, even though it didn't feel like it.
Right. But you're right. At that point, you kind of just felt like, it's going that way.
Yeah.
But how about Tommy Hill?
I'd say
made it look easy.
That's the biggest play of the game to me. I mean,
I agree.
That was psychologically, our confidence went through the roof after that. We got 2-score lead, and we just we kind of made Sanders look bad.
Yes, there was NBC right after the pick 6. Hill runs in, and the next camera shot is Sanders from behind, just standing in the end zone with the you see all the sea of red behind him, and he's just standing there. And you're like, again, it's so many things. It's a huge play. It gets points, and you rattle Sanders. And by rattling Sanders, you rattle their team.
Yeah, and I saw they showed it on the on the broadcast. Dion talking with Shedeur, and it kind of mirrored what Dion said after the game. Was like, we just didn't have any answers. Like, they didn't seem like they were prepared for whatever we were throwing at them in the first half. They weren't ready for it.
No.
They just looked rattled. They looked out of sync and not prepared for that game. And I think that was probably true. I think they got out coached. I think they got out physical. I think they got outplayed in every way.
Yes. Clean sweep. Every different way you want to look at it, Nebraska checks the box. But a lot of it starts with the big boys up front getting a push and putting some thoughts into Sanders' mind.
Yeah.
And Tommy Hill, pick 6, 14-0 Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado's next drive, 3 and out. MJ Sherman sacks Sanders outside of the pocket on 1st down to get Colorado behind the sticks again.
Yeah. D-line's going to win that game for us, and they did.
Nebraska's next drive is a 9-play drive, and 2 unfortunate things on this drive. I feel like Marcus Satterfield had the perfect play. Lloyd in motion. He's on a wheel. You could see that when he comes and he goes. I was like, oh God, they're wheel to Lloyd. Would have been a touchdown. And Lloyd, it was a little. Now there was a lot of, but that's what you're supposed to do as a court. But Raiola put a lot of air under that ball.
Yeah,
and it was like 6 inches to a little bit maybe further out than it needed to be. But Jalen Lloyd drops a wheel route, would have been a touchdown. But Nebraska gets all the way down to the Colorado 14-yard line, 32-yard field goal, missed badly by Tristan Alvano. And at that point, you're kind of like, ugh.
That's that position I'm a little concerned about.
Oh yeah,
I mean. Yeah, I mean, not to go negative, but we got a big question mark there.
Well, there special teams in general, got a punt blocked.
Yeah.
Missed a 32-yard field goal, gave up a really long kickoff return.
Yeah.
Not great. Not great. Colorado on their next drive. They finally get their first down of the game with 13 minutes left in the second quarter. They finally get a first down. Yeah. Just to illustrate the dominance. They get to 3rd and 8. Jamari Butler gets a sack. So Sanders at this point has been sacked 4 times by 4 different players. Robinson, Polar Bear, MJ Sherman, Jamari Butler. No. Their drive goes for 6 plays, 12 yards, and they punt it. And this is when it really felt like this next drive was you felt like it was over with Dami Hill, but this one really was like, this thing's done.
Yeah.
9-play, 86-yard drive, 1st and 10 at the Colorado 37. Dylan Raiola rolls right, kind of steps up into his throw, throws it across the field. Jalen Lloyd, after dropping the one, pretty good job to come back to the ball, catch it down at the 2-yard line. Next play, Dowell punches it in, 21-0 Nebraska with 6:44 left.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan's throw, it's like those cross body throws aren't easy. That's like that takes a lot of talent, and he threw it to the open spot where like Lloyd could get it, coming back. Like it was just like it just feels different when you got a guy that didn't seem hard. Like it just doesn't seem hard when he does these things.
I know.
These things aren't easy. Those are not easy plays to make, and they just don't look that hard.
It's amazing. He's made a few throws, and he did again this game that are like, whoa. But he's moving the ball, and everything just seems simple. And the biggest thing is the guy has now played 2 games. He has not thrown an interception, and he has not fumbled.
Let me just, I was looking at this in the paper today because I get the paper.
Look at you. Yeah, see the paper.
See the paper? Extra.
Were you at Super C with all the old guys?
Me and 86-year-olds. And they let me into their group. You just got to bring coffee and a paper.
And you're a part of the crew.
And you got to say you hate
If you bring your own
you got to say you hate technology. You don't get it. So all I say is whatever they say, it's like, I don't understand why we have to do that.
Damn technology, huh? Am I right? But like, yeah, take a seat, Earl. You're like, it's Bo, by the way, but never.
It's all right. But you know what I was thinking? They tried to get me in one of those cars. I said, give me a horse and buggy. Give me a horse and buggy for God's sake. Like, yeah, I hear you.
My horse never ran out of gas.
They let me right in.
Okay, what did you and the old
I was
folks
just looking
talk about?
Like for Royale's, I think he's 23 for 30. Like,
yep.
His completion percentage is like, it's already so much better than we're used to that like every week, I mean, he's like 70% or better.
He's completing 73% of his passes on the season.
And that's awesome. It just is so efficient. I just love this guy's demeanor. It is, I think I told you, like I said, I ran to Jay, I said, I go, this guy's not Patrick Mahomes. He's like Vinny Testaverde at 38 years old. Like he makes those kind of decisions. Like he's like, nah, I'm not going to even take a hit. I'm going to throw it down. He's just not taking hits. The ball's out. If it's not there, it's on to the next one.
Right.
Like, I turned the wrong way. Take a knee. Next play.
Right.
These are the plays that it takes a lot of maturity to kind of learn the tricks of the trade of like, when do you take a risk? Well, not most of the game.
Right.
And that's when he does, like, he only takes a risk when like we probably absolutely need to, and we haven't really needed to yet.
No.
It's like, hey, just take what they give us. If it's not there, on to the next one. And I'm telling you, we're going to win so many more games by not making the big mistake versus like, you have to make every play. You don't have to make every play.
Especially when you have this defense.
That's it. You can't lose the game. And we always did.
I think he recognizes like, oh, wait a minute. This defense, I don't need to put up 40 points every game and have to take risks and hammer it down the field to Banks and double coverage or whatever. Like, no, I just don't turn the ball over. Make the I mean, and he's clear 73% of his passes completed. I mean, so when guys are open, he's hitting them.
That's it. Like that's what I feel like. He's very coachable, and this is a reflection of Matt Rule, Satterfield, is it Glenn Thomas?
Yeah.
The coordinator, like the QB coach. Like, this is Dylan doing what these coaches really want him to do. Like, just pro style manage a game, take what they give you, and don't turn the ball over. Don't give them, like, we rarely get like, oh, that was almost, there's rarely that.
Right.
And it feels like it's going to be way harder to get the ball from us.
Yes.
That is what I'm loving right now. Is I feel so much more confident in protecting the football.
I totally agree. And so 21-0, 6:44 left for Nebraska. Colorado, then on the next drive, finally got a little bit of mojo. Like all of a sudden, Hunter got loose. Shador finally had like a little bit of time. And they drove the ball all the way down to the Nebraska 12-yard line. 29-yard field goal attempt for Colorado. Ty Robinson blocks the field goal.
I just forgot about that because it's
Think
like
about
we
that.
had so many highlights. I forgot he blocked that field goal. Yes.
Ty Robinson blocks a field goal. I mean, because listen, we sit here, we talk about like this thing was over. I mean, at 21-3, I mean, who knows, right? Like, big play though.
Yeah.
Ty blocks the field goal after what was by far their best drive. Might have been their best drive of the game in all reality. And Ty Robinson comes up huge again. At this point, I wish there could have been a live cutaway from Jason Peter, just like probably came over and just was like, "What do you think? Headbutts till we concuss each other."
Just had like tears, like the first time he ever cried.
Jason, he cried like, I don't know. What is this salty discharge? I don't know. But then after that, both teams exchanged 3 and outs. Nebraska did nothing on their drive. I think on that drive though, we talk about like it was a broken play and Dylan Raiola just went down. Like a little thing like that, like didn't just broken play, went down. On Colorado's drive, Nebraska sacked Sanders for a big loss, but it got called back for an offsides on Dr. James Williams.
And I might challenge it.
Did you see it? I don't think he's offsides.
From the stands, I thought he just timed it. I mean, it was close, but like,
I mean, at this point, like, who's better in a 3-point stance, Usain Bolt or Dr. James Williams?
Let me just tell you something about Dr. James. Let me just tell you something. If you didn't notice, Dr. James Williams, PhD, was out there a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I think this guy, if I'm reading between the lines, like, this guy may be talent-wise, like pass rushing talent. He's got something because he hasn't played much football in his life.
No.
He like didn't play like until I think his senior year of high school. And like
I think he's still raw.
He's raw. He's tall. He's skinny. He's still got like 15 pounds. He could probably 15, 20 pounds he could put on. But like he's out there playing. He's got a really nice first step.
Oh yeah, because all of his pressure on the quarterback are just speed rushes. Like he's just fast off the ball. I'm telling you. And they went to Rule. It cut to Rule, and Rule was like, "No way." I think Rule would be like, "You don't get it, Dr. James Williams.
He does this.
It's his time to operate."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Scalpel." But he's actually, I mean, he's a pediatrician, so he's not. I mean,
he rocks the baby.
He rocks the baby, and he
can pull the scalpel.
If he needs
he's
to,
a general doctor.
Scalpel. Thank you very much. But Dr. James Williams, offsides, gets called back. I just wanted to give some love to Dr. James Williams, so that's why I brought it out. But so then Colorado punts, and here, for the second straight game, a 2-minute drill to end the half. 1:09 left, ball at Nebraska's own 30-yard line. 1st and 10, what are you and I? This is totally like, watching enough football, you have brainwashed me into.
Draw screen.
You love to start a 2-minute drill with either a draw or a screen. And
so does every coordinator, and it's a little cliche, but it does everything you want. The clock will run, and you don't take a big chance.
Right.
2 things that you want, because if you want the clock to run so that if it's not going well, they don't have time left.
Right.
But you're not going to take a chance of a turnover. So it's like you're trying to capture 2 things, right? You're trying to get like a play, but you're trying to get the ball. So instead of just handing it like a straight handoff, it's either like a little,
little draw, a little something. And Ramir's good at this.
Yeah.
Ramir's good at this. So a little screen. Ramir gets a gain of 8. 2nd and 2 over the middle to Nair for 16 yards. Great catch.
Yeah.
Targeting on Colorado. 15-yard penalty out. Then 1st and 10. This might have been one of the more nasty throws from Raiola. Back shoulder to Banks along the sidelines. Pass interference on Colorado. Really good throw by Raiola. 15-yard penalty. So all of a sudden, like, bang, 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 Nebraska's in business in the red zone. And here's where, like, there was like Andy Dufresne getting out of Shawshank and standing under the rain. First and 10 inside the 20, pass over the middle to Ramil Johnson that the linebacker, let's be honest, for as much as we're bragging on Dylan Raiola, it's probably his worst pass of the season so far.
Yes.
Should have been intercepted probably, or at the very least batted down.
Yeah.
But instead, it gets batted up in the air and juggled, and Ramil Johnson juggles it, catches it, walks into the end zone for a touchdown. And at this point, we are all Andy Dufresne going, Nebraska finally catches a break. Like, it feels like for 10 or 15 years, every one of those kinds of plays never has gone Nebraska's way.
I feel like not once.
Yes.
Not once when it mattered. So, like, when it mattered in a big game with the lights on, it never went our way. And in that game, for especially the first, I mean, it just went our way over and over. Like, when we needed a penalty.
Yes.
Like, when we needed a play, when we needed a block field goal, or like, we got them all. And there was a little bit of that, like,
it's like, oh my God.
You couldn't believe it. Like, then we go into half, right? And it's like, Nick, I was like, it was almost like the dog who caught the car. I was like, what do we do now? Like, people couldn't even believe it.
Yeah, 28-0.
Couldn't believe it.
28-0 at half. Total domination.
Yeah.
Colorado's first half drive chart: 3 plays, -9 yards punt; 4 plays, 7 yards, turnover and downs; 1 play, pick 6 INT; 3 and out punt; 6 plays, 12 yards punt; 9 plays, field goal blocked; 3 and out punt, and then they tried a 61-yard field goal to end the half that was just kind of like a desperation, whatever. Total and complete domination.
Yeah.
28-0 Nebraska up at halftime.
Yeah.
And again, like we said at the top, relatively speaking, that's about as perfect as Nebraska can play. And like you said, I hadn't thought of it that way. That maybe is the best half of football I've seen Nebraska play in a big game. I don't even know. I mean, do you have to go back to like 2010 Washington or one of the 20? Like, you got to go all the way back to
Taylor Martinez against Kansas
State in the
2010.
That would have been 2010.
Yeah.
Yes, where it's been a
or
long,
Washington. Like, but I don't know, man. It felt like, we got to keep the perspective here of like what Colorado is, how many games they're going to win. Like, we kind of knew this going in, like,
right, because they're a flawed team.
Yeah, they're like a hype machine with a first round quarterback and receivers, right? Like, it's an interesting situation, but nonetheless, it was a big game,
right?
And we pulled ourselves out of a 20-year funk in this. It's just, that's what's so amazing about it. And I don't think people that aren't Nebraska fans can understand what we're even talking about right now. It's been almost like torture.
It really has. And it's been, and we talked about it in the preview podcast of just like these big games, big moments, and Nebraska not only just not winning the game, but more often than not, semi-embarrassing themselves.
Every time it's on big TV, like a big TV game, we do. We usually don't even play him close. It's usually like that's when we lay an egg.
Honestly, the 2021 Michigan game was the last big game that I truly felt like you could walk away from the game with your head held high and nothing to be ashamed of there. Like, you played well, shaky forward progress stuff at the end.
Yeah.
A Michigan team that went to the playoff, you go, what do you shake their hand. Sometimes you play a good team and you lose. But more often than not, it's been embarrassing.
Yeah.
And so to meet the moment, and for the moment to be as out of a Disney movie dream world as possible, and to meet it with that level of play was truthfully remarkable to watch.
It makes me happy to see like a game where like we were celebrating the 94 national champions. I have these bad flashbacks to 2007 against Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
We did kind of the same thing with
the 97.
And it was just like, it was an utter embarrassment. And I just like, I always feel so bad in those moments, like where like you can't, win one for the people that came before. Like
100%
did it. Those guys, you just got to give this team so much credit. Like they are doing all the right things. It seems like to me, like they just seem like they're all working hard. They seem like they got really good attitudes. Like they're all bought in, and this is a huge step in the right direction for these guys' confidence and their ability to take this springboard into it the rest of the season.
Totally agree. And that's what we've sat here and circled this game and talked about this game and talked about this game, how big it is, how big it is, how big it is. Here comes the game comes, they answer it, they win the game, and it does feel like, now they got to go build on it, but it does feel like all the things that you wanted from this game have happened.
Yeah.
Like they went out and played well. Nebraska's now, oh, by the way, the rankings came out. They're ranked inside the top 25 for the first time since 2019.
Wow,
Nebraska is ranked.
That is something. That is telling.
Oh, by the way, Iowa lost to Iowa State.
Notre Dame
loses to Northern Illinois. Oregon has had, they almost lost to Idaho. They had to have a close win against Boise State. I bring that up to illustrate, like, Nebraska has cruised in 2 weeks here and cruised against a team that had a lot of eyeballs and a big stage.
Yeah.
It's just all the things that the ingredients from this game.
Yeah.
You finally got to take a taste of it and you're like, that is good.
Right.
That is good. Secret ingredient still in Raiola. That's good.
Winning tastes delicious.
Oh God. Speaking of tasting delicious, quick break to talk to you about Brickway Cut Spike and the Lucky Bucket family. I told you, I've gotten some booze from them. Brickway, I got the double barrel bourbon. That one is the Cut Spike bourbon. And your boy, so on Friday night, it was cool outside. The kids went to bed, and I just I got some ice, poured it on the rocks, and I listened to Bruce Hornsby.
Oh,
and I drank. Yeah,
wait a minute.
You know that.
How come you didn't call me on that night?
Would you have called me?
If you told me I'm drinking whiskey and I'm on the porch listening to Bruce Hornsby,
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Bruce Hornsby with I did the Brickway bourbon. It was really good.
Oh yeah.
It's just delicious. It was absolutely delicious. And here's the thing. They got a bunch of different things. They got the American Single Malt, the 6-year bourbon. They got a bunch of different things. I also got some Oktoberfest beers as well that I'm very excited about. I'm set. So you're telling me next time, bourbon and Bruce Hornsby? Bourbon Bruce. The BBs.
We'll do it.
The BBs coming at you. They're located in the Omaha La Vista area, 4 blocks south, 120th and Giles. Make sure you go check them out. And the Nick Bob podcast is brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems. You may hear Peerless, you go, wait, Peerless Price? Yes, Peerless Price. The Ed McMorrow, the owner, was watching the 98 Orange Bowl. Yeah, yes. He was watching the game. They interviewed Peerless Price on the sidelines. They asked about his name. He said it meant without equal, and the motto stuck with Ed, and that was kind of the thing that launched the company, was going to be their mantra. So Peerless Energy Systems was born. They go to market via local distributors and make some of the best air compressors and ancillary compressed air equipment in the industry. So listen, whether you are in manufacturing, food processing, utilities, transportation, refineries, body shop, whatever, for all your air compressor needs, Peerless Energy Systems has you covered. Go to peerlessenergy.com. That's peerlessenergy.com. And the Nick Bob podcast is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. I had a couple people come to me this weekend like, Pella, when I was downtown. I'm like, you know that. You know it. I love that. Like,
do you need a window?
You need a window here. It's I love it. Be like, oh man, they're great, because they treated me great. Debbie and Vince and the whole crew, they were fantastic during the free in-home consultation. Went to the showroom to make sure that the options were exactly the perfect choice. The installation experts, they were on time, professional, courteous, left our house cleaner than they found it. Call the Omaha or Lincoln showroom or go to PellaOmaha.com to find out how you can get $100 and new windows and doors starting at $122 a month. That's PellaOmaha.com. PellaOmaha.com. Okay. What's funny here, real quick, the second half, because we went into in conclusion mode pretty quick. I mean, the second half happened, and listen, the game felt over. Rule even said it after the game. He was like, I knew Colorado couldn't score, so. I don't want to go overboard. I don't want to overreact to the offense in the second half. Like, they got shut out. It wasn't a great performance from the offense in the second half, but it's like when you were just dominating the way Nebraska was dominating defensively. I mean,
it is hard to put together 4 quarters like the 2 quarters we put together in the first half. Nick, it was close to excellence.
Yes.
It was a like once in a decade performance. So to say you get to do that for, let's just do that every quarter, right? Like that's the goal. Like it's harder to do than that, especially like I'm not lying to you. I think the entire stadium, like they were so loud and crazy the first half, Nick. I think everyone, including the players, it was like adrenaline dump. Like it was just like we were like we were tired. Like everybody I talked to was like they were kind of exhausted because they were it was so nerve-wracking building up the game, and then you were just like lost your mind that it was almost like it was like a come down. It was like hard to kind of maintain.
Sustain that.
But so I think the players maybe felt a little bit of that too. It was they dominated enough that the game was at hand, and I think and they didn't play quite as good offensively.
Well, but even I wrote down that they had a 12-play 52-yard drive that ate up 6 minutes that they had to punt, but like they held the ball for 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like one of those. It wasn't just a 3-and-out fest necessarily, because one of the issues obviously was that may have been one of the worst officiated football games I've seen nobody hates referee talk more than me. I think it's low-hanging fruit, like bad content typically. But geesh, it was really bad. There were 21 combined penalties between the two teams. And so some of Nebraska's big plays they had in the second half got called back on
Ramir's touchdown run.
Yes.
Like, I didn't feel like it was even in the it didn't look like it was even close enough to have made a difference.
Yes.
And gosh, I'll tell you what, like there's just, as referees, like it's a hard job. So I give these guys a little bit of grace, but like you just can't throw a flag every play because the games become unwatchable. Like I'm such a believer that you shouldn't even have instant replay, and you should just be like, you only throw a flag if it is so blatant, then you throw it. But like these guys are throwing it almost every play. It becomes this game of like who's getting the call or not, and not just like let the guys play.
And what's amazing is they were equal opportunity offenders both ways. Like I thought Nebraska got some bad calls. I thought Colorado got some bad calls. So I don't even necessarily think it favored one team that much. Because even they called roughing the passer on Raiola, and it wasn't even close to roughing the passer.
It was bad. That was like the last chance they had to get momentum, and I was like,
it was like, okay. So I do think a part of the second half kind of just lackluster flow and all this stuff had to do with, it felt that there hit a stretch where it was like there was a flag after every play.
Well, I think we had 3 or 4 big plays back. Like every nice pass, nice run that we had in the second half, it felt like those ones got called back.
Right. So yeah, Nebraska got shut out in the second half. They didn't play great. It is too bad that the game kind of ended on a thud on just how uncompetitive that second half was, given the craziness of the beginning of that game, but whatever. I mean,
that to me, though, is I'm okay with that sort of sloppiness in that moment, because now hopefully they learn from it. They gave themselves a chance to learn when they could, not like learn from a loss, right?
Yeah.
Like you were bad and sloppy in the game that you needed to win in the fourth quarter versus like just a little sloppy in a game we were way up. Okay.
For sure.
So like, it's okay. We get to make those mistakes because we earned it. We earned the right to make those mistakes with our excellent first half. So it's not going to be good enough to, probably to beat an Ohio State or to like that type of a team, but
USC, those kinds of teams. Yeah. But
I mean, I still see like, the defense and seeing Dylan, like the way he was, looking at the clock and trying to like, I was just seeing like, okay, I'm still seeing.
Yeah, they were chewing the clock and they were waiting it.
The game it's not just how many times you score. It's just like it's a game with the clock too. And I think like we're grasping like that offensively. Like, I'm okay running the ball all second half when you got a 28-point lead because you know what? Who cares?
Right.
Just run the clock out.
Right. And, yeah, I still think just when you look at it, I still like – now, I don't think this is like the 83 Fryer, Rozier, Turner, Gill. Like, I don't think it's like that. But, like, I like Raiola, Nair Banks, Fedoni, Boa Constrictor. They ran
Boa
twins
Constrictor.
right. Boa Constrictor. I mean, that was a nice little boa he ran.
He's a nice player. I think
Yes.
he's I feel like Fedoni's kind of in it. He hasn't found his.
No. He had one first down on a
He got a pass.
little play action.
Yeah, he got one, and he got the pass interference call.
And then he has some nice, they use him as a polar blocking.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're yet to really he's yet to get into he's already in Canton, so it's at this point it's all
That's the hard
gravy.
part. When you're already in Canton, it's like,
What do you got to prove? That would be my question. Do you kind of feel like you have nothing to prove at this point? you already got your
he's got the gold jacket.
You got the gold jacket. Like when you got the gold jacket in your closet, they're going to take away a little bit of your fight and hunger. But no, they've yet to get him rolling. But yeah, I still think I don't think this offense is the most explosive, amazing thing in the world. I feel good about it though.
Okay, running backs. What do you think?
Okay, here we go. That was good. Has Dante Dowell officially shut this thing down and he is running back number 1?
I would say Ramil is not out of the picture.
Okay.
Because, I think on third down, Ramil is the third down back.
Mm-hmm.
But Ramil also, that touchdown run, like he showed explosiveness that we're like, that's the Ramil I thought we've kind of always been waiting for.
Right.
And he had his great play on the
to catch it on the
tip that
yep.
he made that play. That was a pick and he ripped it out. Like,
yes.
So Ramil I don't think Ramil is going to go away. He's Michael Myers.
He's Michael Myers.
Like he's not going away. Like this movie has got another couple of scenes left, right? Like
how many Halloweens are there? It's like, are there more Ramil Johnson seasons or Halloween movies at this point?
I think there's been more Ramil Johnson seasons than Jamie Lee Curtis has been in Halloween movies, which I think they're on Halloween like
Halloween 85.
Halloween Revolution. Halloween.
You know it's bad when they go away from like 5. They stop counting and they got to name it a new thing like Halloween. Revenge.
Retribution.
Jeez, Louisiana. Ramil Johnson. Back and better than ever. You're like, okay.
Johnson.
But Ramil Johnson, 9 carries, 33 yards. He had the one called back. He had 8 catches, I believe, for 49 yards and a touchdown. So I guess to me, I should have rephrased it. Is it officially Dowdell Ramil, or that's the combo?
That is what from my takeaway is, it felt like those two are getting all the snaps when it matters, and the other guys right now are sitting clearly in backup roles.
Because it's easy to talk about wanting to rotate different guys in, but when stuff gets real, who's out on the field?
That's to me, it felt like that was a real game. That's one of the reasons why, like I said, Dr. James Williams, like I go, that guy was out there a lot.
Yes.
So that tells me what they feel about him. Same way Ramil and Dowdell, that wasn't a fluke. Like
no.
they want to play him.
I tell you what, I'm so glad that this is who I was hoping Nebraska would get. Again, he's not Amir Abdullah or anything like that, but he runs powerful.
He hits the hole hard. So,
yes.
So, the guy hits the hole hard, and he's way more explosive through the hole than I had imagined him. Now, like, he had those 2 runs in the first drive, right? My issue with him is he beelined it at the safety, tried to run him over. I'm like, that's a cut, score, touchdown.
He went to Brandon Rigoni running back camp. Riggs was like, I love that.
Riggs got a hold and said, just run right at him. Like, no, make a move.
No, beat him. But yeah, he could maybe get a little bit more elusive. But what I like about him, he hits the hole hard, and he typically falls forward.
He's getting yards going through the hole.
Yes.
He's pushed the pile a few times. That's what we need. And I think Ramil is just a little light. He's just a light, maybe too light of a guy to be your like
light in the ass, little light in the ass.
Trunk.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be his downsides. Like it's hard to just hand the ball to him over and over because he's just not going to move.
Yeah, it's hard for him to think like, okay, you're you're playing Wisconsin and you're going to hand their ball to Ramil between the tackles 25 times.
No,
like that's just not who he is.
Sometimes the play is hand it off, run into the pile, push the pile forward 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah.
And you're good. Where like Ramil doesn't do that as well as like a Dowell or a Gabe Irvin would.
Yes. So, but it's amazing. A week ago, as a single issue voter, you were voting against Dowell was fourth.
They kept him off the ballot, Nick.
He did. I'm not sure. He was not on the ballot, and now he is RB number 1.
I know.
So, but I think our eyes knew, and I referenced this in our last pod, that there was a commenter either on the YouTube chat or on Twitter that was like, I get what you guys are saying, but you guys are crazy. Dowell is the best running back.
He won
of the
eye test, right?
Eye test wise, he looked good.
Yeah, he won the eye test, and
he fumbled though. And he had to go.
They went back to him though.
Yeah. So I think at this point, barring some whatever, I feel like it's the combination of the two.
Yeah.
It's Ramil and Dante Dowell that's the running back duo.
Yeah, I haven't seen him throw to Dowell yet, so I think like when Ramir's in there, like he is more versatile in the passing game. They want to throw it to Ramil, so Ramil is not going away. It's more a matter of, is Dowell the like featured power back?
I think he is
on the goal line in regular first, second down plays. I think it's clear right now he is. Can he maintain that? I think for him it's going to be, can he hold on the ball? I saw Ruud kind of get up to him pretty quick after that second time over the pile.
Yeah,
he almost lost the ball twice.
Yes,
and I think Ruud was giving him a suggestion like, don't put that ball.
I'm not a huge over the top pile jumper.
It's dangerous. It's a dangerous play in a lot of ways, but if it's fourth down and you got to have it, go over the top.
You're big because usually, people are submarining and it's just it's a massive humanity.
If it's a gotta have it moment, I'm good with whatever it takes. And that means
you would be. You see, who's your favorite? Is there one guy that was was Walter Payton?
Walter Payton was excellent. Barry Sanders actually in college used to do that.
I feel like he'd have been like bounce it. In his head was like option 1, bounce it. Option 2, double bounce it.
I mean, but he had these because I think he had just a crazy vert.
Walter Payton had just. I mean, it was like he was
go over the top.
Yeah, but Dowdell's not like. It doesn't seem like
he had a little bounce.
He had a little hop to him. Maybe I'm not giving him enough cred. But I think he's right now. I think he's got the belt.
I think he probably has
him and Ramil.
Belt. Ramil is
Michael Myers. He
has
until
the third
he gets
down
hurt,
belt.
and
he's got the third down belt.
Oh yeah,
this movie is not over.
On third down, it's Ramil time. Yeah. Okay, but that's what I was my most excited thing to talk about. I think you're right. Like it's a combination thing, and we talk like Ramil. There's just a trust level with Ramil too. Yeah. Okay, a few other things. Just putting a bow on the defense, because, I mean, we need to, wow.
Yeah.
6 sacks by 6 different guys. It is just incredible how on any given pass rush, sack, or whatever, it could be, I mean, it's Cam Lenhart, it's Prince Will, it's Dr. James William, it's Jamari Butler, it's MJ Sherman, it's Polar Bear, it's Ty, they're so deep.
Yeah, it's real depth too. I didn't know if it was real. Last year it didn't feel like real depth. This year it feels like more legit. Like it really feels like you can have Lenhart or Butler. It doesn't matter, right? Like it does not matter. You can
Prince
have
Will
Prince
played well.
or MJ out there, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter. That is the difference. Like you got a handful of guys there that you just like. It doesn't matter. And I saw did McGahee
got the strip sack.
Yes,
right. So that's
awesome.
what it is. So 6 sacks, 10 TFLs, pick 6, fumble recovery, 2 stops on fourth down, 1 from Bayer, 1 from Bullock. How great was you talk about?
Yeah.
What take me through that? He just knew he had that gap and just that's his shoot it in anticipation.
He shot it. I mean, it was man. That's like. That was excellent. It was excellent. It was great timing, and he was physical. And yeah, I tell you, him and Bayer, they made it. They stepped their game up. I felt like this week.
I agree.
They played a really nice game.
Tell you what, you and I some of our bigger concerns were weapons on offense. So far, looking like you're working with a little some. Linebackers through 2 games, Bayer and Bullock have been pretty good. And then secondary, like how I was worried about, like,
can they run?
Hunter, and like
Jimmy Horn, Hunter?
And so I mean, for the most part, they did a pretty good job.
I would say they did an excellent job.
Yes.
Right? Like, I mean,
it helps to have a pass rush that's just
you had the pass rush, but what did they do? They gave up like some of those like 10-yard intermediate. They
never gave up
They never let them run streaking down the field. North Dakota State, like I was like shaking my head at a second half watching them just go like, what are you doing?
I think Colorado's longest pass play was 30 yards, maybe. I mean, so they did a good job. Didn't let anybody get behind them. They kept everything in front.
They come up and they tackle.
And they come up and they tackle. So, and then Colorado had 16 yards rushing. Now, Colorado's run game is like pretty weak, and they don't even. I mean, it's half-hearted a little bit too.
And you know what else, Nick? This is underrated. I think Shadur Sanders is tough, but that dude got his butt kicked. Yes. I mean, they hit him a lot.
Yes,
they hit him a lot. Like there was just many times where like he was taking these like hard shots from our D line, and then like. You see that time he tried to run it, and Tommy came up and like
tried to get out of bounds. Shadur wanted to get out of bounds, and Tommy's like, "Oh no!"
He hit him he like speared him in the hip, and I mean he got up, and I was like, I kind of was like, this guy is not going to finish it. I kind of had that sense he's not going to finish this game because he was limping. He was limping bad after that, and it's like he had taken a pounding for 4 quarters.
Right, and then Bayer got targeting and ejected. I mean, Bayer comes in and rung his bell pretty good.
No, that's it. So like we beat up their quarterback, and that was a black shirt staple for a couple decades. It was like, if you're gonna throw it, we're gonna tee off on that guy. And that was before all the targeting stuff. But like this is a targeting, don't touch the quarterback time, and we still beat up their quarterback.
It's a great point. In the wussification of football where it's you can't hit anybody, man.
Nick, I want to invite you to my old man's club. They would love hearing about this.
Just put them in skirts, man. Ridiculous. But in the era where it is hard, you don't see a lot of big hits, and if you touch the quarterback, like that's about as good of a job as you can do hitting a QB and not getting a bunch of penalties for it.
Because you got to get there. Like your pass rush has to be legit, right? So even if you don't sack him, but you can hit him, that means you got to be early. You got to be so early that the ball is just getting out that when you're hitting him, it's not a penalty.
And it just was, it would be like, okay, here comes Prince Will, but then Butler on the inside. Like it was like they were coming from different angles, and it wasn't just like Aiden Hutchinson beaten, like that's the only side you're worrying about. I mean, you got to worry about all of them.
Yeah.
And that defense, man, there can't be 10 better defenses right now in the country than that.
Yeah, I haven't.
I don't want to go overboard. But
I haven't got to watch those SEC teams right now. Right. There's always a couple in the Big Ten. There's always a couple in the SEC. They're just a bunch of dudes that are going to be in the pros, right?
Yes.
Like that's how it's going to be. But I mean, we play a complete team game right now.
Well, that's what I like. I like Rule's message. He's so good at this. He was like, everybody was talking about the stars for Colorado, and rightfully so. But our team and our defense is a star. Like our entire defense is a star.
That's fun.
And that's fun. I mean, it's multiple dudes.
Yeah.
Because even we said arguably the best player on the defense was Isaac Gifford. And so far, he's not necessarily...
He hasn't flashed.
He's doing his job or anything like that. But
he's doing a great job.
Yes.
It's just that these other guys are fine. Like I felt like last year was like he had to cover up more.
Do everything.
And everybody is doing more of their job.
Right.
Where like I think it's almost it's watching Ty finally flash, right? Watching these other D linemen flash. Tommy Hill, it's like so close so many times, but like this is the time. It's not Tommy like getting one and running 60 yards. Tommy took it to the house. Like what we've been waiting for, Tommy. Like that is the difference. Like the other guys are finally stepping up to the level that we were like, this is a chance to be a real defense, I think.
Yes. I am
Like
so impressed.
Yeah, expectations coming from last year were high. I was like, I was slow on that road. I'm starting to be like, maybe we.
Well, I brought up all the, they beat up on bad offenses last year, so I wanted to see what it looked like. You had a year of the 3-3-5 Tony White film now, but because that again, let's not after the fact all of a sudden act like they don't have Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, LeJounte Wester.
Yeah.
Like that's other than Ohio State's crew and maybe USC's crew, they're not going to see a better quarterback, wide receiver, totality combination all season than that.
Yeah, those receivers, like, I'm sorry, they didn't exist to me almost out there. That game didn't feel like they were like, they just didn't.
Like Travis Hunter had great numbers. What's amazing about it, he finished the game with 10 catches for 110 yards, but it just felt like it was all like inconsequential.
It was. There were all those like 10-yard little like sit-down routes that he was running. We never let those guys really get vertical. Like they just weren't getting down the field, and they weren't getting like, slippery on a slant or something. Like, we kept it in front of them, and you just tackle. Like, okay, Shedeur's a good quarterback. He's going to find Hunter for 10 yards. Just tackle him, and you're good. And that's kind of what they did.
Because then eventually you're going to get a TFL or a sack, and now it's 2nd and 14, and you're in business.
That's the equivalent of Dylan throwing it away. Give him 10 and tackle him.
Right.
Give him 3 and tackle him. Give him 5 and tackle him. That is Dylan throwing it away, like the defensive version of it. I'm such a believer in like, okay, like sometimes they're good players and can win too. You just don't let them break your back with a 60-yard touchdown. Like,
and they wouldn't.
You give it up. There's every defense has a weakness, and you rally and tackle from that weakness. That's all it is. That to me is how I think of it. Like, let them attack your weakness and then tackle.
And they are just they're to tie it back and put a bow on the defense. Like the depth of seemingly menacing D linemen is impressive. Yeah. Like they just got a lot of guys that can go make something happen.
I feel like we had a period of years there where there was not the pass rush threat was never
non-existent.
It was never really. You couldn't win. It was letting your 3 or 4 guys rush. You had to blitz.
Yep.
We finally have seemingly turned a corner where you just let those guys do their thing, and they're going to win sometimes. Like, we wouldn't win like for an entire game.
Yeah, because sometimes if you really, it was always fun to go back and then rewind and watch just an individual. I mean, Ty would just straight up beat his guy.
Yeah.
Jamari would straight up just beat his guy.
Yeah.
And, you just didn't, over the years, you had a little bit of Garrett Nelson having it rolling for a while.
It took about his last year before it was really
Before he really turned it on. All of a sudden, it was like, man, Garrett's really kind of getting after people here.
But you remember he had a couple years like where we weren't as dangerous. We had guys that had, like
Ben Stilley was like a warrior, but wasn't necessarily going to just
not a pass rush
guy. Yeah, it's just you see what it's like where it's not just dudes that are doing their job and holding things down. They're winning one-on-one.
God, yeah. I mean,
and it's just so because that game was about the defense. Yeah. I mean, total domination. Again, Dylan Raiola, I got to say it again. 2 games, 0 fumbles, 0 interceptions. Okay. 73% of his passes completed. He has been excellent. He's been excellent.
Just his mannerisms. I don't know why mannerisms matter to me.
Oh, they do.
It's
at quarterback, it matters.
It matters that he doesn't look lost. He looks very in control. The guy's 18 or 19 years old. I don't know how it is. He is a
freshman in college.
Freshman, and his demeanor and everything I'm seeing is total control. He is in control of what he's doing. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what we want to get into on a level that you're not supposed to be at 18.
And his just, again, the great ones just make things look easy. And whether it's just a flick. Like, it doesn't even, Colt McCoy made the comment, it doesn't even look like he's throwing it like half speed. And it's just like
his little bubble screens,
yes,
and his actual screens. It doesn't look like sometimes it's like, he's just like, he just has a way of just like
dumping it down, sidearming it over the top, whatever. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's just
it's part of being. That's the part of being a quarterback that maybe most people underrate.
Right.
That stuff, making that stuff all function really well is, I don't know that it's easy, but like he's making it look easy.
Yeah.
I think that stuff is like, I've watched this for years struggle to execute
complete a screen pass.
Yeah,
Like,
and Bubbles were always like, like this just looks like, we make it look like it's routine, and that's where
Totally
you're like,
agree.
They're doing something right, and Dylan is obviously doing something right.
Couple more things to wrap up. I used to always love the end of prime time when Berman and TJ would hand out game balls. TJ, who's your game ball? It's going to Brett Favre. Boom. I love what he did. So I want to hand out a few game balls, okay? And if you got any ones that I miss, we've talked about them a lot. First game ball's got to go to Ty Robinson.
Jason Peter Jr.
We knew he needed a big game. 1 sack, 1 TFL, 1 block field goal, 1 pass deflected, and American. Whole D-line you could give a game ball to. Yeah. 6 sacks, 6 different guys. Second game ball, John Bullock. I just thought appeared in the second half where, again, they were never, but whether it's the 4th down stop, he did a great job on a boot, covering and hitting. He broke up a pass. He had 2 TFLs, 1 pass breakup, 5 tackles. Impressed with John Bullock. Tommy Hill, pick 6.
Yep.
Dante Dowell, 17 carries, 74 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Are we giving out?
We're giving out a lot. Dylan Raiola game ball, Ramir Johnson game ball, and then the last guy I want to talk about. This guy.
Because that's 6 or 7 game balls, Nick.
Your boy come with a big old crate full of game balls.
Can I protest your game
When
ball?
you are in charge of the game balls, you hand out as many game balls as you want to.
So you gave out 22 game balls to the 22 starters. Like, yes, I did.
I gave a game ball.
Guys gave out a lot of game balls over there.
Look at, there's your game ball in Colorado. Were you the only
1 game ball? Nick, they used to give out 1 game ball.
Well, okay. Hold on. Before I talk about can I talk about my last guy?
At the end of the game, there's 1 ball, Nick.
Okay.
And
time out.
All right, time out. They may give out 2 game balls.
Let's give out 2 game balls.
Okay,
I'm going to give my last guy when I'm in the midst of handing out game balls.
Okay. Seriously, how many did you read off?
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now the 7th.
Oh my God!
I thought a lot of guys deserve game balls. Okay,
I'll give you
my
that.
7th guy, where I got to think of a nickname for him. Bo, Ja'Cory Barney. I am
He's a stud. He's a good player.
2 carries, 28 yards, 6 catches, 29 yards. He had the one-hander. It got called back, but that guy.
He's our electric guy. We need to get him the ball a lot.
It's like Raiden. Do we need to call him Raiden?
He's electric.
Raiden, he was like lightning, but that's the same thing, right?
Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah, he's Raiden. We give out 7 game balls and nicknames. We just go for it. He just gave out 7 game balls.
It got a little out of hand. I'm not going to lie to you.
What?
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Now we're making cuts on the game balls. We're handing out 2 game balls?
2 game balls. I think you do 1 offense, 1 defense.
On defense, we'll say who we're getting the game ball on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ty Robinson. Easy one. Ty, come on in here, son. You got a game ball. Mm-hmm. The second game ball. It's got to be on offense?
On offense.
Wow. it's got to be Dylan, right? Or you want to go?
I think it's Michael Myers or it's Dylan.
What a sentence. What a sentence.
I think we got to give it to Dylan because let's be real. Because if Ramir doesn't make the one play, his other one got called back. So
yeah.
Ramir made a great play, but Dylan was in control. I'd argue you give it to Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule almost...
You want to get a game ball to Matt Rule?
I almost would
Or Tony White. But let's give it to Matt Rule. This feels like, you know what, that's what we're doing. We have 2 game balls to give out. One is to Ty Robinson.
Yes.
The other one is to Matt Rule, who has done a great job. Yes. He's done a great job it feels like this guy is doing everything right, but they just lost 7 games last year, okay? But everything else has felt like, man, the process feels right. The messaging feels right. How he's building the team feels right. He's building it through the trenches. He gets Dylan Raiola. Everything builds towards this big game and a big moment where you are putting yourself in a position to potentially take off. And Matt Rule had his team ready to go.
And that's well said. That is exactly why I think he deserves it, because it's hard to do that.
Yes.
And to get a team that has not been able to rise to the occasion They
were ready to go. In every way, mentally, emotionally, physically, that team was ready to freaking play.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
So
one thought, because you did have so many game balls, and I don't want to I don't want to poo. You gave out 7 game balls. I don't want to poo-poo your 7 game balls. So here's a thought. For the midweek pod.
Yeah.
Do you know what we need to do to get a little bit more people? We got to see who's in the club.
We do. Nick. So 2 games in, who's in the club?
That's the next
coming up
pod.
on the next one. That's right. Wow.
We got to see who's in the club.
When you're handing out some dudes. When you're handing out 7 game balls, finding 5 guys to get in the club.
I don't know. I think 5
I feel like
guys.
I have 2 locks for the club.
We're going to have a hard time. We might, because we're winning, we might allow a few more.
Whoa, we've extended the club?
We can do whatever we want.
That's true. It's our club.
Game balls are a little bit
I did
more
just hand out 7 game balls.
You gave out 7 game balls, Nick.
Who's the most undeserving guy? You didn't want to give Raiden a game ball?
I mean,
Raiden didn't deserve a game ball.
Who was your 7? I can't even think of 7 right now.
Okay, there's one that I just got really excited for him.
Who is it?
John Bullock.
I mean, Nick.
His 4th down stop was
good.
Like, if you go to linebacker camp, the first, that's like John Gruden, cute. You'd be like, look at this guy. Huh?
Bullock. You think I like Bullock? You know I like Bullock.
You like to hit, don't you? Just rewinding that over and over and over and over and over. This guy, John Bullock. Boom. Huh?
Knock on wood if you feel me.
Knock on wood if you feel. But so John Bullock probably didn't deserve a game ball. There are 2 guys that got game balls too that I needed to just go up to them and say good game. John Bullock and Raiden.
Yeah, Raiden didn't. I mean, he had the great. It was a great catch.
Raiden is so exciting.
Yeah. Raiden. He is exciting. Yeah.
Raiden, that guy, that little guy. There's
skinny,
a different. He is.
But he's one of those guys. He's like, for being that skinny, he still like breaks tackles though. You know,
and some guys are skinny, but I think he's so tiny that it's hard to like really catch him flush.
When sometimes there are guys that you talk about defense, like he's great at taking angles. He is a offensive player that really understands the angles at which you make your cuts and attack people. Like one time I saw him it was odd. He ran almost right through a guy, where he knew the guy would go past him. Like he has a sense of that. Where
he's not just fast. He's got good feel.
He's got a great feel. He's clearly can wiggle and run and he sees the field. I love dudes that can see the field. Not everybody's got that.
Tommy Hill. I mean, he tied for the game.
That pick six
high of tackles, and he made the biggest play in the game. So it's hard to not give him a...
He's a guy that'd be very deserving.
Yeah, but Michael Myers and Raiden probably didn't deserve game balls.
Ty set the tone.
Ty and Matt Rule. I think that's the answer. I didn't extend game ball to the coaching staff. Okay.
Nick, you know why I love doing this pod? Because
I handed out 7 game balls.
I walk away laughing and smiling every time.
I cannot do that anymore. Okay.
You gave out 7 game balls.
Okay, do we need to do this moving forward? We got 2 game balls to give out every game. No. We start with me handing out and that's our. Sometimes you gotta. I'm sure the Oscars they list 10 movies.
Yeah, we got.
And you got then people trim it down.
We got people sitting in the crowd.
We got a committee. So we gotta write. We gotta start with the big list. So that was my big list.
Yeah. So Ty won and Tommy was kind of like.
Yeah. There's a little bit of
nice clap, but
Tommy made the play of the game.
That was the play of the game.
Oh man. Okay. So Nebraska 2-0 for the first time since 2016. First win over a non-con power conference team since 2016. The defense is legit. They're ranked inside the top 25. Enjoy it, man. I mean, this is exciting.
We're back in the top 25.
This is exciting. 28-10 Nebraska over Colorado.
I think
what a day, what a night.
We need to say thank you to all the Husker fans.
Yes.
And the listeners of this podcast who stuck through 6 years
of L's.
of not winning a big game
Right.
and all L's. And it's like, I think everybody deserves a
game ball.
A game ball. Everybody gets a game ball.
All y'all get a game ball. In conclusion, all y'all get a game ball.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.